Welcome to my channel. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and be a part of our community. Today I'm going to talk to you about VAT and the recent developments with VAT, my thoughts and the thoughts of other learned colleagues regarding VAT. Now, I'm sure you've seen earlier videos where we've talked about the thresholds and the fact that we have voluntary and involuntary registration. I get a lot of calls from clients, companies that are recently registered, and they want to know if they can get a VAT number. In fact, some clients assume that as soon as they are registered with the CIPC, that automatically they have a VAT number issued to them. That is not the case. The only registration that is automatic is income tax, very different from VAT. So income tax, as most of you will know, that registration does not entitle you to charge VAT on your products or services. VAT registration is a whole new registration that must be done. Now, what has happened in the last year is that SARS have made it more difficult or more complicated, let's use that word, for people to register for VAT and become VAT vendors. In the past, we could do it on e-filing with our eyes closed as tax practitioners, and it would basically happen within 24 hours as long as the client was on e-filing, the public officer was appointed, the address of the company was confirmed, the banking details were confirmed, and everything was up to date with that particular client. Now, we are being subjected to what they call a VAT review. Now, the VAT review has actually become very tough. It's still an online process, so it's not like before in the 2018-2017 era where they would do an actual physical inspection of your premise. It's not that bad, but it's still a review that will take you anything up to 30, 60 working days while they're going through all your documentation. Now, what they'll typically ask for is, of course, the usual FICA documents. They want to see the company registration document, IDs of the directors or the public officer. They'll also want the recent proof of address of the director and the company, proof of, now here's where it gets tricky. In most cases, they will want to know that your turnover is at least exceeding R1 million per annum. So they've gone right up to the maximum threshold, which is the fact that your turnover, not your profit, your turnover must exceed R1 million per annum. And they would want to see this proof in the form of two things: your tax invoices made out to your customers, and most importantly, your bank statements. Because of course, anyone can just do invoices, right? Whether they are genuine or not. So they will want to be able to link those invoices that you've provided with an actual payment made by your client into the correct bank statement. And it obviously needs to be 3 months of the latest bank statements with all those payments that your client or that you as the applicant that you have received from your customer. Now, here's where most people fall short. The references on the bank statement must tie up with the customer invoice. The dates must also make sense. And of course, most importantly, the invoices must comply with the SARS minimum requirements for a tax invoice. Look to my earlier videos to see what those requirements are. Basically, if they are satisfied that you are a vendor that is worthy for them to register you, they will issue you with a VAT number. So we've been successful. It's just been a longer, grueling process. What has also happened is while the left hand is doing this, the right hand, as usual, is not talking to the left hand. And we've had situations where clients have been registered for VAT without them actually asking for it. In other words, if SARS notices that your turnover has exceeded R1 million and you've submitted an income tax return and financials and your turnover is high, they will register you for VAT on their own. and simply send you a notice of VAT registration. That has caused distress for a lot of clients, a lot of taxpayers. They were not prepared. They did not want to have VAT numbers. And of course, you'll understand that affects your pricing. It affects your profit. It affects your expenses. You will now need to submit VAT returns. And you will also need to pay someone to do your bookkeeping, your accounting in an orderly manner. Most importantly, you run the risk of being penalized if you're late with VAT submissions, as well as being audited to make sure that what you're submitting for VAT is correct. So here's the dilemma. Is the minimum threshold that we are now looking at and the maximum threshold, where they're saying for 1 million they are registering companies, is that still a sensible amount given inflation? This amount has been there for a number of years. They have not moved it. We're still looking at R1 million. Many experts feel with inflation, this should change. We should only be registering companies that are doing more than R1 million turnover per annum. This will obviously mean it'll hurt some of the smaller companies that actually do need to register for VAT despite their lower turnover. But it'll also mean that the companies that do not actually want to register for VAT yet, even though their turnover is exceeding R1 million, they are now going to have that reprieve. Join me as I look at these and many other interesting topics. Enjoy.